This is a fake one-sided rivalry. We got Angel Reese taking more shots at Caitlin Clark unnecessarily. You in Indiana having a great time partying. We see all the clips. Why can't you just do your thing? Why can't you just do your thing?
Want to see the exact moment Angel Reese's marketing stunt backfired? Picture this. She drops her shoe campaign right in the middle of WNBA All-Star Weekend, plastered everywhere, thinking she's about to steal the spotlight in Indianapolis. The problem? Caitlin Clark gets injured. Ticket prices plummet 48%. And suddenly, Reese's whole campaign looks like she's trying to capitalize on an empty stage. The numbers don't lie. When Clark's out, nobody cares about the theatrics. We're breaking down every cringe moment that Reese did during that weekend and how she's getting destroyed.
But can Sarah Spain and the media stop going out there and saying that like the Caitlin Clark needs to do something to stop all this, when it is very clear this is a one-sided beef, and the one-sided beef is not from Caitlin Clark?
Everyone thought this All-Star Weekend would be the moment women's basketball finally broke through to mainstream sports culture. You know what was supposed to happen? Clark versus Reese in Indianapolis. Packed arenas screaming. Record viewership numbers that would make ESPN executives actually pay attention to women's sports. The whole thing was set.
We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out.
But then Clark's groin injury gets announced just days before the weekend. And suddenly the entire foundation starts cracking. Fans had been planning this trip for months. They booked flights to Indianapolis specifically to watch Caitlin Clark play on her home turf. Hotels were sold out. Restaurants were preparing for crowds they hadn't seen since the NCAA tournament brought March Madness to town. The marketing campaigns were already rolling full steam ahead. Corporate sponsors had dumped serious money into this weekend, banking on the Clark-Reese rivalry to deliver eyeballs and engagement. Nike had special editions ready. ESPN was promoting this as must-see television. Social media was buzzing with countdown posts and predictions about who would dominate.
It's a story we have been following throughout the past 2 days, surrounds the superstar herself, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA star, the Indiana Fever star, Caitlin Clark. She's going to miss all the action on the court.
Clark's home state advantage was supposed to be the perfect backdrop for her. Indiana fans were ready to pack Gainbridge Fieldhouse and show the rest of the league what real basketball passion looks like. The storyline wrote itself. Hometown hero takes center stage at the biggest WNBA event of the year. Then the domino effect started taking shape as news of Clark's injury spread across social media. Suddenly, all those carefully crafted marketing plans looked shaky. The main storyline everyone was invested in just vanished overnight. You could practically hear the air coming out of the...
Caitlin Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star game, they've dropped by 50%.
This wasn't just any injury happening to just any player. Clark had single-handedly brought new eyes to the league. She turned casual sports fans into WNBA followers. She made people who never cared about women's basketball tune in just to see what the hype was about. Her absence meant losing the player who actually moved the needle. The weekend that was supposed to crown women's basketball instead became a case study in how fragile the WNBA's momentum really is. All that excitement, all that build-up, all those corporate dollars betting on record-breaking success. It all hinged on one player being healthy enough to show up when she couldn't. You could see just how much the league's recent growth depended.
But when it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. the surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions. They're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
The carefully planned celebration of women's basketball turned into a reminder of how much work the league still has ahead of it.
But while
Clark was dealing with a legitimate injury and disappointing fans who genuinely wanted to see her play, someone else saw an opportunity to make the weekend all about.
Reebok, Angel Reese are taking shots at Caitlin Clark, using her as promo. Angel Reese, let's be clear here. Let's just be all the way clear here. Angel Reese is a solid basketball player. Angel Reese 100% has benefited from attaching herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn. Her podcast, the first 3 episodes, all the clips promoting was bringing up Caitlin Clark. It was bringing up Caitlin Clark in all of the promo. People wanted to know what she was going to say. She used Caitlin Clark as pro.
Picture launching your biggest marketing campaign in your rival's hometown while she's injured and can't even show up to defend her turf. That's exactly what Angel Reese did with her I'm in your city campaign during All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis. She rolled out her Reebok signature shoe launch with billboards, social media pushes, and messaging that screamed territorial takeover right in Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese, I'm in your city. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. Post it on Instagram. There's about 15 fans there and Reebok put up a board. You would expect Reebok to put up a board. Let's never forget that when let's never forget the gigantic Caitlin Clark Nike billboard in Chicago. Let's never forget that. So if Reebok didn't put up a board for Angel Reese,
the timing couldn't have been worse or more calculated, depending on how you look at it. Reese's team crafted this entire campaign around being in Indianapolis, knowing full well this was Clark's home turf. The shoe launch wasn't just about introducing a product. It was about making a statement in enemy.
You continue to take shots at her, and then when them shots get fired back, nobody likes it. We don't have no videos of Caitlin Clark really taking shots at Angel Reese. Look at what Angel Reese and Reebok are doing for views. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. This is promo they're doing in Indianapolis, where Caitlin Clark plays. That is a clear shot. It's a clear shot. Like I said, this is a fake rivalry. I think you've won 1 game versus Caitlin Clark. You've never won in Indiana at all. It's just like you continue to attach yourself to her at every turn and use her as promo.
Let's be real about what happened here. Reese plastered, walk in your trap, take over your trap messaging all over social media, even using Bankroll Fresh's track take over your trap on her Instagram story. You know what that sounds like when your main competition is sitting out with an injury? It sounds like you're trying to claim victory in a fight where your opponent can't even show up. Fan reactions on social media told the whole story. People were calling it opportunistic and classless given the circumstances. Some fans applauded the marketing move, but way more questioned why Reese felt the need to go this hard when Clark was dealing with a legitimate injury. The comments ranged from playful jabs to straight-up criticism about the timing.
Caitlin Clark has never said a negative word about Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark has never said a negative word, or to be honest, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, she did show it by her actions. Showed it by her actions. She didn't need to say, I'm taking over Chicago. She did, however, go and put up 31 and 12, set a career high with 12 assists, be the only player in the history of the WNBA ever to have 31 and 12 in a game. She did, in fact, do that and then try to hype up the Chicago crowd. So it's fair enough, you want to say, oh, Caitlin Clark did this, then show it with your actions. Go and win MVP. Go and win MVP. Don't just be like, this is my city. Don't just come in and be like, this is my city. You've never won a game. Has she won a game in Indiana? I don't think she's ever won a game in Indiana. I actually do not think she has won a pro game in Indiana.
Here's where it gets interesting. Reese doubled down instead of adjusting her approach when Clark's absence became official. Other players in the league showed respect for Clark's situation and toned down any competitive messaging. Not Reese. She kept pushing the campaign full steam ahead like nothing had changed. The contrast was obvious. While other All-Stars focused on celebrating the weekend and the league's growth, Reese was out there trying to make it all about her rivalry with someone who couldn't even defend herself on the court. One video analysis noted that Reese's team was absolutely great when it comes to marketing and designed the campaign to generate conversation, even if that conversation.
Now with Reebok she's using, this is nonstop. She has attached herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn, and she has benefited. Let's be clear here. Yes, she does receive backlash. She does receive negativity, but she has benefited greatly. She has made millions of dollars off of attaching herself to Caitlin Clark and using her to make her brand bigger.
What was supposed to be a bold marketing move instead came across as trying to win a game where your opponent couldn't even suit up. You're talking about taking over someone's city while they're injured and can't play. That's not competition. That's opportunism dressed up as confidence. The whole campaign highlighted what one analyst called a completely one-sided rivalry. Rhee was out there throwing punches at air while Clark was dealing with actual basketball problems. But the real proof of how badly this backfired was written in